has a boundary that's tightly drawn around the essay, because there's a reason I'm writing the damn essay, and that would be, well, I'm trying to write a whole manuscript. Hopefully I'm trying to address an important problem, because why would I be doing it otherwise? I mean, that would be kind of pointless. And maybe that's part of my role as a scientist, and that's a subset of my role as a professor, and then that's a subset of my role as a productive citizen, and then that's a subset of my role of someone who confronts the unknown, you see? And that's why the logos is the thing that's at the top of the hierarchy. That's how the hierarchy should be structured, is that everything else should be, see, because you have a structure, and you think, well, what should the structure be subordinate to? And then the answer should be something like, the structure should be subordinate to the process that generates the structure. Or the structure should be subordinate to the process that generates and maintains the structure. Well, obviously, how could it be any other way? Unless the structure is perfect, in which case you dispense with the thing that generates it and improves it, but then you're a totalitarian. It's like, hey, we got the answer. It's like, no, you don't. People are still suffering, and they're still dying. You don't have the damn answer. And so maybe you have an answer that means that there isn't quite as much suffering and dying as there could be, but there's plenty of road to be traveled yet. And so it makes perfect sense that all of this should be nested within this highest, I think of it sort of as the highest order of moral striving. And then that also gives you a moral hierarchy. That's the most important thing. You do that with honest speech. You do that with attention and honest speech. That's how you do that. And you don't sacrifice that to any of this, because if you do, then you're hurting your soul. There's this idea in the New Testament that the sin against the Holy Ghost is the one sin that can't be forgiven. No one knows what the hell that means. Maybe it doesn't mean anything. But I think this is what it means, is that because this process generates all this, if you violate that process, then there's no hope for you. Because that's the process by which you improve yourself, and everyone else too, everything else. So if you decide you're not going to engage in that, it's like, well, there's no fixing that, because you've blown apart your relationship with the thing that does the fixing. And so, okay, and so that's how you keep chaos at bay. And so part of that is structural, right? Because you know how to do these things, more or less. It's part of your skill set. If you happen to be a writer, you could build one of these for a plumber. It doesn't make any difference, really. Although the outside thing should be the same, which is, I think, partly why in the Judeo-Christian tradition, there's the assumption that people are fundamentally equal before God. And what that means is that, well, they should be